There are 5,000 companies listed on the BSE and about 2,000 on the NSE. In this video, we'll learn why a company lists on the stock exchange. Dhirubhai Ambani returned to Mumbai from Yemen to start a small yarn business. They imported polyester yarn and exported Indian spices to Yemen. I mean, the office was barely 500 square feet large. It was in a true sense a startup. One room, one telephone and 3 chairs. Reliance then built the Vimal brand. They made their own cloth, and many advertisements later, it was a popular household name. Sales went from 13 crores to 302 crores in this period, and during this time, in 1977, Reliance IPO'd. You know, in his IPO speech, he said, over the last 5 years, company sales are up 351% and gross profit up 608%. So, it is this growth that attracts people to invest in the IPO. Investors need to see where the company is going and how fast it has grown. Hi, I'm Prateek Singh, and in this video, we're going to understand why a company lists on a stock exchange, and we'll take an example right from the start when a company begins all the way to IPO. Let's understand that journey in a bit more detail. This budding entrepreneur started manufacturing t-shirts with a special dye. Tie-dyeing. His friends loved the t-shirts, so he decided to start a manufacturing unit. Early stage companies generally raise money through friends and family or individuals who have a high net worth. This is the first round of funding that they get to get started on their idea. The initial friends and family round is called the seed round because it sort of seeds the business into fruition, into existence, and is usually done by, like I said, friends and family and angel investors. He convinces 2 HNIs to invest money in his business in exchange for some shares. Remember, this money they're investing, it's not a loan. It's an investment in the company itself. The HNIs are usually called angel investors. That money first raised in the seed round is also called the initial share capital. Much time goes by and the entrepreneur is now making healthy revenues and grown from the manufacturing unit to full capacity. Now let's say he needs to add another unit and requires more money. He now needs to approach more professional investors who are called venture capitalists or VCs. They specialize in investing startups. Again, he raises some money in exchange for some percentage of his company. When the entrepreneur raises money from the professional investor, he doesn't give away his own shares. Instead, he issues new shares to the venture capitalist. The business is now valued at a lot more than the seed round, and wealth has been created for the promoter and the initial set of investors. The entrepreneur can now go for multiple rounds of financing to raise money and grow his business. He may do series A, B, C, D, so on and so forth until he keeps growing his company. Now let's assume 5 years have gone by and the company has grown all over India and is now a renowned brand name. However, the entrepreneur does not want to settle for this. They want to go global. So now they have to invest in manufacturing units around the world, so a larger investment is required. There are quite a few options that the entrepreneur has now to actually raise money for, but he decides to IPO. An IPO is the initial public offering, where the general public will be allowed to invest in the company. Our entrepreneur will raise money via the IPO, also called the primary market, and then list on the stock exchange, which is the secondary market, where people can buy and sell stocks on the stock exchange. So when the company started, they raised money from friends and family or HNIs. Then they went to different financing options like institutional investors. And at this point, while the business is growing and becomes very large, in this case, our entrepreneur wanted to go global, he could continue to raise money from institutional investors, But he could also raise money from the public. And that is called the initial public offering, where the company offers its shares to the general public and spreads risk and rewards to a large number of investors. So now let's understand how the IPO process actually works and the steps involved in it. The first step for the company to apply for the IPO is actually appoint a merchant banker. A merchant banker will make sure that the company is following all the rules and go right from the application all the way to listing day. Now, the merchant banker and the company then go and apply to SEBI with a registration statement. This document or these set of documents contain all the information about the company's health, its management, the vision, and financial statements. The next stage is getting an approval from SEBI. SEBI will then give a go or a no-go to the IPO and then move forward to the DRHP stage. The DRHP, or the Draft Red Herring Prospectus, is a simple format containing all the information about the company. This includes things like what the company has done so far, the management, about its industry, competitive advantages, even things like risks and what could affect the company adversely is all in the Red Herring Prospectus. After this, the company has to actually market itself because now its investor base is going to be the general public. So marketing would involve also called the IPO roadshow. This could be TV advertisements, radio, etc. So people have awareness about the company. After this, the company will fix a price band of the issue, say between 100 and 120, for example. This price band is where a book building process will happen, which means participants can bid for shares between that price band. And it is thought that the book building process itself is an effective price discovery mechanism. After the book building issue has been closed, we enter the closure stage. We find a single price the share has to list on listing day. And the way that we find that price is where the most bids actually occur during the book building process. And finally, we have listing day, where the company gets listed on the stock exchange. After this, when the market opens based on demand and supply of the market participants, the share price may be at a premium or a discount. This whole system we just understood, where people are bidding to buy the shares before they get listed, is called the primary market. So once the stock actually lists on the exchange, the stock price will move on a second-to-second basis forever. It keeps happening and is a continuous process. And in the next video, we'll understand why stock prices move. Key takeaways from this video are: